Hi guys, welcome back to the kitchen. My name is Mandy, and if you're new here, welcome back to my homestead. I am just a grandma to many, mother to a few, and friend to all you guys out there. I'm making some pesto lemon chicken, pesto freezer chicken. Anyway, we're going to make our pesto sauce. We're going to put some in the freezer, at least one, and we're having one for supper tonight. So this is kind of my favorite thing to do, guys. Cuts down in the preparation time. If you're
Why make one dinner when you can make three at the exact same time? Sorry, guys, my mic died out in the middle of this, so I have to do a voiceover. I got my basil plant there that was in my window, and I'm going to pick it, and I'm going to use that basil for our pesto sauce. Free food again, guys. A nice basil plant. I wished I'd have planted more out in the garden, but I didn't. So here we are, but I do have this one. I am going to pick the leaves off of the plant starting from the top. Hopefully I get enough from this plant for what I need to make my pesto sauce. I did, however, I was a little worried that I wouldn't have enough, so I did, when I was at the grocery store, I did buy some. This, guys, is not cost efficient. $3 for this package. $3. You know, I somehow in my mind think I could have probably saved myself some time and effort and bought the pesto sauce. But this isn't about buying it. This is about making it and everything being homemade, guys. So next year we're going to make sure that I'm going to make sure I plant lots of basil, and I'm going to have my own spices. It's so worth it to have your own spices in your kitchen, to have a little herb garden, you know, for your own dill and parsley and sage. I have sage also growing on my windowsill. There we have it, guys. I've picked it dry. Looks like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Hopefully that sage grows back.
We're going to go over to the sink and we're going to give it a wash. This again, not a hard job, guys. It's very easy. I don't know what a jar of pesto sells for in the store, but as per usual, it is not as good as homemade. And homemade should be substantially cheaper in the long run. But not when you're buying it for $3. So anyway, let's go give this a wash. Okay guys, I changed my camera angle because of that ugly blue curtain that is behind me. As you know, this kitchen is unfinished. So there are things that are not finished in it. One of the reasons, you might say to yourself, Mandy, why do you have an ugly blue curtain hanging up on your doorway to your kitchen? And the reason for that is because in the other room over there is my mother, and she likes to listen to her music, her country music on the TV. And sometimes she's a little hard of hearing, so the music is really loud, and I pick it up all the time on my videos. So I put that up there to try and dull the sound, because I don't want to say, Mom, don't listen to music, don't do your thing. I don't want to be an inconvenience. So I put the blanket up there, ugly as it is. And then when I play back my videos and I'm thinking, oh, you got that ugly blue blanket in your video. Anyway, guys, you understand. It's all a process. It's all about doing what needs to be done and living in whatever circumstance you have to live in, and you just keep going. You just keep doing what has to be done. Just like our pesto here. Here we go. I'm just dampening the basil with a paper towel, and I'm just going to put it here in the Ninja, the Food Ninja. Waste this stuff. Pine nuts, ridiculously expensive. Where's my bag? Let me show you. $8 for this bag, and I've taken a quarter of a cup out of it, and I put it in there. It looks like to be more, maybe another quarter of a cup, maybe half a cup of nuts, maybe 3/4 of a cup of nuts in here. Crazy amount of money. I just put $4 worth of nuts in there. Apparently, you can make pesto with some walnuts or some almonds. You don't have to use pine nuts, but I'm making the real deal here, and I want to make it. But next time I make it, I'm going to try and make it with some almonds or something and see if the difference warrants these expensive nuts. We'll have to have a taste test and try it out, guys. We're also going to put in here you know, good wonking helping of garlic. All right, guys, you can add as much garlic as you like. Less or more, whatever is your preference. Now we're going to turn this on here and give this a little chop. And then we're going to slowly add a half a cup of olive oil into that extra pure olive oil here, it says. Okay. We're just going to give this a little scrape down, guys. Certainly it needs to be ground more, but we got some more stuff to add. We're just going to grind it for just a little bit more. Okay, so we just got a couple more ingredients to add. We're going to add a little pinch of salt. Give a little pinch of salt in here. There we go. There we are. And we're going to squeeze some lemon into it. Okay, I might have to invest in a new lemon squeezer because this is too hard for my hands. Maybe the orange one will work better because it's too hard on my hands. I feel like I'm not getting the lemon out of this thing that I'm supposed to be getting. There we go. I turned it upside down. I'm telling you guys, the arthritis is a hindrance. It makes everything hard. Have pity on old people when you see them and they can hardly walk. And they can't open lids and they can't do things because, you know, if you live long enough, you'll be there too. Okay, we got the lemon in there. We got the salt in there. The last thing we're going to add is our Parmesan cheese. I got a cup here of Parmesan cheese. Now, that's just your regular out of a jar kind of Parmesan. Like all things, the more expensive ingredient you use, the better your stuff is. So if you want better pesto, use better Parmesan. Wow. Lemon, basil, and Parmesan. Incredible. And just like that, guys, our basil is no longer basil, it's pesto. Okay, guys, and just like that, pesto. Presto, pesto. Pesto, presto. That's great. Let's get our chicken out, guys, and let's make our pesto chicken. All right, guys, we got our pesto is ready. We got our chicken out. I decided, though, that I probably got myself enough pesto here to make 3 meals of chicken for our family. So we take 1 chicken breast each. I used to cut these chicken breasts in half because I found it was way too much chicken. The last time we had it, the chicken breasts weren't so healthy. They were kind of on the small side, and I feel like this is one of those instances where they're selling you less food for more money. You know how like they love to do that? I feel like the chicken is that instance. I never actually paid attention to the poundage. So let's have a look here, guys. All right, I got my pans here. This one's for supper. These 2 are for the freezer. So we're gonna start with making sure our meat is good and salted. Chicken can be a little bland. And then I'm going to spread this pesto evenly amongst my 3 pans here. Guys, this is the best. This is the easiest way to go. You got to make dinner once. Why don't you make it 3 times?
You know how thankful I'm going to be to have these in the oven one day, or in the freezer one day? I'll be like, oh, what's for dinner? I know, pesto chicken. I have some in the freezer. All ready to go, just like it came out of a box. Except it didn't come out of a box, it's homemade. All right, we're getting a little down to the wire here. Okay, I think I managed to judge it correctly and get it down right to the last drop. There we go, guys. Perfect. Perfect amount of pesto. I always find it like really interesting how things just work out. You know, you just made enough pesto to do, I mean, what do we got here? 12 chicken breasts. Okay, so the next ingredient we're going to put on it here is diced tomatoes. These are my stewed tomatoes. You ever make something that's so good, you're reluctant to use it because it's just that good and you feel like it's not a special enough thing to be worthy of your food? That's what these tomatoes are, guys. I don't know why I start to become a hoarder. Oh, my good tomatoes. I don't want to use them. Because you know what happens when I use them? Then I won't have them. I'll run out. And I'm like, I don't want to run out of my good tomatoes. But you got to get over that. You got to just use them. Because if you don't get over that, you end up keeping things way too long and then they're bad. Does anybody else have that problem? I don't know where it stems from. Yeah, it's awful to be a hoarder. You have to sympathize with people who have that affliction. I don't really have it, although my son would disagree. He says I save everything, but you know, he saves everything. We just have a different idea of what's important. But we are getting better. You know, the one thing about it is you get rid of the clutter, you get rid of the chaos. And you always have to tell yourself that. So, and you know, there will be another jar of tomatoes, hopefully. Okay, so we got the tomatoes on, we got the pesto on, we got the salt on, now we got the cheese on. Now what we're gonna put on here is mozzarella. I wasn't sure I had enough mozzarella, so I grated some old cheddar in there with it. That is a big hunk of cheddar there, your mozzarella. We want to get this evenly amongst our dishes. There we go. I don't know if I'm just an old pro at this or what, but it does slay me how I managed to get it worked out so that there's enough. And just to eyeball it. There we are. Yum. Okay. This one's going in the oven right now because it's almost supper time. These two are going in the freezer. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put foil over it. And then I'm just going to write on it. Pesto chicken. 350, 1 hour. There we go. This one's going in the freezer. This one's going in the oven. I'm going to boil a little pasta to go with this. Well, that wasn't very good. Didn't judge that very well. Well, didn't judge it over there well either. I guess we'll go this way sideways. And that's dinner, guys. Got a little corn on the cob too, so we'll cut up some pieces of corn on the cob. It's going to be a great dinner. $3.50, 1 hour.
find room in the freezer. All right, guys, there it is, pesto chicken. And when it bakes in the oven, there's a nice little juice that's floating around. I know the noodles look plain, but they're actually covered in that juice that's from the chicken and the pesto. Let's give it a try. Just use penne noodle because that's what I had. Probably would have preferred bow tie noodle, but I didn't have any. There it is. Let's give it a taste. There we are, guys. Look at that. Mmm.
What a great dinner, guys. Totally 5-star quality. But that's it for us today. Hope you enjoyed this recipe. Hope you give it a try. And have a good day. God bless everybody. And we'll see you next time on Back to Basics with Mandy.